Hello and welcome to my vintage audiophile channel. This is my 51st video, and today we're going to be discussing a Sony integrated amplifier that is called the audio current transfer unit. It is model number Ta-Ax500. Came out in 1984. It was kind of their top of the line model that year. They used the best resistors and transistors and everything else that they could to go into this particular unit. It was very expensive at the time, but despite that it still sold very well. In fact, well enough to where the following year they decided to make their own new line of high-end audio, which became the ES series, which lasted for many years over various eras, up through home theater era. It was all top of the line stuff that they made for the ES series, and especially their receivers and turntables, and even the cassette decks were and still are highly regarded. This was kind of that precursor to that, the one that kind of put the seed in their minds to go ahead and introduce the upper level series that they were confident enough would sell, and they did sell. This particular model has 80 watts per channel. It has 0.05% total harmonic distortion, and some pretty great specs. I think the frequency response is 5 hertz to 100,000 hertz, and it has some features on it that you don't really see on other components, at least not the ones I've seen in my lifetime. Number one, you'll see it has a standard 1/4 inch headphone jack on the lower left with the power button up above it. Next to that you have the speaker selector. It has 2 sets of speakers that you can hook up to this, and it allows you to select either A or B or A plus B to get all 4 speakers going at the same time. Above that and to the right is the big volume knob, and down below that you've got 3 buttons in a row in the center for bass, treble, and balance. Above that you've got a subsonic filter that you can push in and out, plus something else that I haven't really seen on other components before, which makes it kind of special to me because it's very handy, and that is a graphic equalizer button. If you have a graphic equalizer hooked up to this, and it has a separate input on the back for graphic equalizer, you can turn your equalizer on or off. And over here we have a monitor button that is either pushed in for source or pushed in for source or tape. Above that you have a clear button that lights up when you push it for CD direct, allowing you to play CDs with the most minimalist, purest path of music to go through. It shuts off all the bass and trebles and all that other stuff that isn't necessary, so that you got one clean path from the CD player directly to the amplifiers to make the music sound even better. Then above this over here you've got room for phono, a tuner, because it is an amplifier, it doesn't come with a built-in tuner, CD player, auxiliary, and then tape, either 1 or 2 by pushing the button in or whatever. It has 2 hookup for 2 different tape decks on the back, plus something else you don't see on too many components, and that is a upfront cartridge button, so that you can choose either a moving coil or moving magnet impedance for your turntable. It has RCA jacks on the back for auxiliary, but it also has a 1/4-inch jack too. If you want to add something that needs a 1/4-inch jack, you can hook it there and use it as an auxiliary. Or you can hook this in the back with the RCAs and use that to play with your MP3 player or anything else modern that you'd want to put to it. And as far as the tape decks are concerned, you don't have to have 2 cassette decks. You could have a tape deck and a reel-to-reel player, although the reel-to-reel player back then was kind of being phased out, so it was harder and harder to find them new. You'd have to get one that already have one that was a few years older than that, but definitely worked. The sound on this is really great. It's really open and airy, and the bass is there too. It has good mid-range, and it is one of my nicer receivers, or should I say not receiver but an amplifier for playing just music. And I don't have a tuner hooked up to this right now because I couldn't find my tuner. I hooked up a bunch of different things just for demo purposes, all silver stuff. That is over to the left, as well as a silver turntable on top that I had laying around, just trying to keep in the same era. I managed to find a few things that were all silver to make them all match. I'm going to turn this on. You can see the buttons light up. Right now it says tape 1 is lit up, but I do not have the monitor button turned in like I do if I do this, and that would make it so you can listen to your tapes. It does have a tape copy on here too that you can copy from number 1 tape deck to number 2 tape deck if you so desire. If you have 2 tape decks that are single type tape decks, you just turn that on and it will allow you to record between the 2 internally with the signal path, which is a nice feature also. But I'm going to put this back on source, and just for the heck of it, I'm going to play a little intro to this particular record I've got here. This isn't by any means an audiophile turntable. It's an MCS turntable, and while Techniques did most of their turntables, I believe this one, just from the look and the feel of it, was probably made by Hitachi. So I will put this on. It is a manual start, automatic return turntable, belt drive. And as you can tell, I do have the amplifier hooked up to my pair of Aura Linden AM tweeter speakers that offer the real nice trebles. They have been reviewed in one of my earlier posts, so those who've seen that one know which speakers I'm talking about. They work really well, and I like them a lot. And I'm going to eject this right now so that we can move on to some other stuff here. I'm going to move my camera over so that you can see what it is I'm showing as demos for the stuff. On the bottom we have a machine that is about 20 years newer than what this particular amplifier is, and this is a Sony CD DVD player that I've got. It offers the chance to put up to 400 discs in it, and will play both CDs and DVDs just fine. I'm just going to put a little bit of this particular one on, but first, over at the right where you can't see me what I'm doing, I am going to put it into CD mode, and I'm going to hit play. And when I hit the CD direct button, you'll notice the tone, everything changes, it gets lower. Is where I want to be forever. And that's going through the pure path. So I will stop that. And I will turn on the cassette deck next. This is where I have to change my monitor from source to tape in order to listen to it. So I'm pushing in the tape button right now. I'm going to hit play here. Once I turn it on, these speakers work very good on instrumental and jazz and classical, because of the extra treble that they've got. And now I'm going to keep playing this tape for a moment here, and I'm going to turn this power button on, as you'll notice on my equalizer here. Get this up for a little bit better look. The equalizer on the left channel, all the lights are working. They're currently not working on the right channel, but they work. But the buttons work themselves. And I just have to probably open this up one day, change the light bulb that lights them up. Shouldn't be a big deal, but just never got around to it yet. So it is on. I'm going to turn the volume back up, and then I'm going to put the equalizer button on and let you see that it does in fact engage the equalizer. So the equalizer is on, and the sound was probably a little subtle in what you're hearing, but it definitely got the bass going a little bit better, and the highs are a little bit more. And that's classic V curve type of setting. So as you can see, everything works on it. After almost 30 years, it still works fine, and I have no complaints about it. Like I say, I use it sparingly because I don't want it to break, and but every time I do, it's like a revelation to me. It really makes a difference on what kind of components you put inside. I don't even remember how much I paid for this back in the day, but I know it was quite a bit. And you can still find them once in a while on the used market, but not as many out there as some of your other stuff, which was much less well built. And that is my demonstration for today. Hopefully it was a little bit eye-opening for you. Sony over the years has had a reputation of building some good stuff and a lot of so-so stuff. This follows in the really good category. Everybody that I've ever seen online who has had the experience of owning or hearing one of these always says the same thing. It's dead quiet. It sounds wonderful, and once you have one, you'll never want to let it go, and that's how I feel about it. So until next time, please subscribe to my videos. Please leave any comments or likes that you would like to do when viewing this video. And everybody out there, stay safe. Wear your masks if you have to, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you very much. Good night.